You've probably seen the headlines lately. RAM prices climbing again, storage prices stabilizing, then creeping up, and people asking why the same hardware suddenly costs more. Here's the twist. This isn't just a PC problem. The same memory squeeze is lining up to hit smartphones globally in 2026, and it can change what you get for your money. Either you pay more or you get less. What's up, guys? It's Mad Joe. Let's talk about your future smartphones and why they're about to get more expensive. Quick one, drop a like if you want more industry behind-the-scenes breakdowns like this, because it affects literally every phone buyer. In this video, we'll cover why RAM and storage supply is tightening, how AI is sucking up capacity, what this means for smartphone prices and specs next year, and what you should watch before you upgrade. Let's start simple. Every smartphone depends on two memory buckets: RAM, mostly LPDDR, and storage, which comes from NAND flash and gets packaged as UFS or eMMC. Normally, over time, you'd expect memory to get cheaper and better, but right now, the market is moving in the opposite direction because memory makers are prioritizing higher margin segments. In plain English, if the same factory capacity can be sold into AI servers at better profit, consumer segments like phones don't always get first priority. That's one reason supply tightens and prices rise. And AI is the key driver here. AI isn't only about GPUs. AI workloads also need massive memory bandwidth and huge storage volumes. So that means data centers are pulling in more server-grade DRAM and high-value memory products, and also more enterprise SSD capacity. So manufacturers shift production mix and investment toward what's most profitable and most demanded. The downstream effect is that smartphone-grade memory, especially older or lower-margin tiers, can feel the squeeze. We've already seen industry watchers track tighter mobile DRAM conditions, including LPDDR supply pressure and ongoing upward pressure on memory contract pricing into 2026. Now, what does this mean for the smartphone industry globally in 2026? Two big outcomes: pricing pressure and spec pressure. Forecasts point to a world where smartphone shipments can soften while average selling prices rise. That sounds weird at first, fewer phones sold but higher prices, but it makes sense when core components like memory stop getting cheaper and start getting more expensive. If a key part of the bill of materials rises, brands either accept lower margin, raise prices, or tweak the product. And brands rarely want to accept lower margins, especially in the low to mid-range. That's why the budget and mid-range segment is the most exposed. Those phones compete heavily on price, and their margins are thin. So if RAM costs go up, it hits that segment first. The most likely playbook is reduce promo intensity, raise prices a bit, and quietly restructure configurations. This is where consumers feel the sneaky changes. You might not always see a huge MSRP jump on paper, but you'll notice fewer crazy discounts, shorter promo windows, and less generous bundles. Even more annoying, you might see spec downgrade behavior. For example, base models staying at 128 gigabytes when you expected 256 gigabytes to become standard, or the good configuration, like 12 gigabytes RAM or 512 gigabyte storage, being priced way higher than before because it's the easiest place for brands to protect profit. So don't be surprised if 2026 looks like this. Mid-range pricing creeps up by small amounts, maybe $20 to $50 here and there, while the bigger change is that discounts become less aggressive, storage upselling gets harder, and regional configs get weirder because brands manage supply by shipping different RAM and storage tiers to different markets depending on what they can secure. Now, who's most affected? First, the low to mid-range Android segment. If RAM costs go up, those devices have the least room to absorb it. Second, smaller brands can get squeezed on supply allocation compared to the biggest players that can lock contracts and volumes. And third, flagships can still get more expensive too, especially because they use newer, faster memory, but flagships have more room to disguise it with trade-in deals or bundles. The pain is just more visible in the budget and mid-range lane. So what should you watch if you want to time your upgrade smarter? 3 things. 1. Quarterly memory pricing direction, because mobile DRAM and NAND contract trends usually signal what phone brands are facing. 2. Major memory makers' forward-looking comments, because when they talk about tightness or constrained supply growth, that's a warning sign for downstream pricing. And 3. Market forecasts on smartphone average selling prices. When those rise while shipments flatten or dip, it's usually cost pressure showing up in real retail outcomes. Bottom line, 2026 could be the year where smartphones don't automatically get more for the same money. You might pay more, or you might see specs held back, especially RAM and storage. If you want, I can do a follow-up video breaking down which brands and segments are most likely to sacrifice specs versus raising prices, and what that means for the best value picks next year. Tap like, subscribe for more no BS tech and market breakdowns, and comment this: are you upgrading in 2026, or are you holding your phone longer?